nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry Austin. Joining me tonight, my best friend and fan favorite, Rafa. How are you?
Good, here live from Buda, Texas, here in my hotel room.
You're like the Kaler of the show. We're gonna have to put up a where is Rafa? In Texas. Although you may have to do one show kind of in your car, and that way we can have the ultimate Kaler experience.
Yeah, real humid.
It's so hot out here. I'm gonna try it. It's so hot out here. It's so humid.
So next time, if I'm on Lockhart, I'll do it live at Black's Barbecue or something.
Nice.
Matt, how are you?
Great, sir.
How's the arms this week? I know last week you're kind of whining a little bit. I'm just gonna say it. You're whining
A little
about the drums.
I'll admit,
bit.
I'll admit I was whining, sore, but we're good. We're good this week. I didn't get hit by anyone, so we're great.
Yeah, well, hopefully you got one more strong weekend for you. Robert, your Vikings aren't as good as my Broncos, but hey, your record's all right.
We are better than your Broncos. We are not. We are above and beyond, head and shoulders. No, I'm good. I'm golden. Let's go.
Royce, no baseball. Or actually, I think the last time we talked, the Astros won. So I know you're a super fan about that, being a Cardinals fan. So any final comments that you have on the baseball season?
Robert sounded real confident for a guy that has Kirk Cousins as his quarterback.
He can win a few games, at least 7.
As long as it's not prime time.
Let's not talk about that.
New Major League Baseball season starts, and spring training's in 4 months. Spring training in 4 months. So let's go. New season. I'm excited for it. But we have a lot more important business to take care of right now.
We do, which this gentleman goes by the name of Handsome John H on Twitter. From the great state of Kentucky, or I believe he's from the great state of Kentucky there in Louisville.
I am.
For that here. John, how are you? Welcome. I know you are the host of 24-Hour Purple People. Not to confuse you, Robert. There are other teams that are purple.
That's fair.
Yeah. We're mutual friendly with the Vikings or any other purple team. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Harry, and the guys. Nice to meet all you guys out there, and looking forward to talking some USL Championship soccer with you. Very excited about this weekend.
So I will say I listened to your last show, and I'm just going to throw this out here. For me, number one, I'm happy it's here in San Antonio, but I think for Louisville City fans, they should also be happy that it's here in San Antonio, because looking at the weather there, mid 30 degrees.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
No, thank you.
There was a bunch of people that got online and said, because in our stadium we have a pretty good sized screen there, and everybody was going, "Hey, let's have a giant watch party." And then the team actually tweeted like, "Have you seen the forecast? If you're going to sit still in 30-degree," of course, I'm sure if it happened, a lot of people wouldn't be standing still. We'd probably still have capos. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think 30-degree weather is very good for that. So
yeah.
So to initially get started here, we're gonna go over the San Antonio Colorado Spring match. Colorado Springs wanted to still stay in the news with talking about the state of the referees, so we'll also talk about the state of the referees. Then we'll talk about the playoffs at this time, and we'll bring John back in. He'll probably hang out with us, and if he wants to make a comment, he can make a comment. We'll talk about the USL Awards. That kind of a mixed bag for San Antonio for that here. And then we'll preview Lou City, and then I couldn't find the Mexico roster, Rafa and Matt, because I know you guys are scared, to release it. So we'll just discuss the U.S. men's national team quickly. Just give a heads up. Next Friday night, we're going to be doing a special show with Pro SAFC at Smoke downtown. I forget the exact address. It's going to be with the Crocketeers. It's going to start 6:37-ish, around there. Still trying to formulate, depending on what happens this week. We might try to see if we can have it, somebody from SAFC out there, initially just to kind of talk about, because that would be right after there now. If the players have already left, through there. So that's still to be, to be determined, but it is something that I'm excited to get together with Pro SAFC and SA Soccer Roundtable to discuss the World Cup. Go ahead, Royce. You're on mute, Royce.
Attaboy. The address is 501 East Crockett for Sky Sky Bar.
Sky Bar is a smoke bar.
And definitely looking forward to meeting up with Shattuck and Clayton and those two with Budo SAFC and chatting some World Cup soccer.
And then I've been told at 8:00 karaoke starts. So
nice.
We're gonna get run. We're gonna get the hook. We're gonna get the group D and whoop. So
yeah, and nobody wants to hear me sing, so we'll just leave it at that. But hopefully, if you are able to come out, depending on what the weather is, I know it's something that it'll be our first in person, so it might be a little choppy. We'll have to see how it goes. But the Crocketeers, James was wanting to put it together and reached out to both us and Pro to see about putting it together. And of course, both of us were like, hell yeah, to do that. So let's get started here. Starting lineup came out: Jordan Farr, Garcia, Kamiri, Tainer, Manley, Maloney, Delim, Dillon, Gomez, Patino, and Adeniran. On the bench, McCullough, Pirano, Collier, Nacho, Saeed Abdul Salam, Larrera, and Jack Lynn. We'll start with you, Rafa, here. Your thoughts on the lineups that came out. We knew PC was out. There had been rumors, from Pro SAFC that Abu was going to be out, possibly for the playoffs as well. We'll see on that one there. We know PC is out for the playoffs. Your thoughts on Delim and Maloney moving into the middle. Rafa?
What else we can do with those two injuries? So naturally, like I said, Maloney was gonna be in that position. Dylan played a great game the last game against Oakland. So kind of the lineup we kind of ended last week against Oakland was which were you gonna see. I did get some info about Nicky Hernandez. He is out hurt. So that's why he hasn't been on the roster the last 2 weeks.
Oh, so that's
so
okay. That makes sense.
So I did get a source told me that he's out. So like I said, he would have been more than likely if he wasn't out, he would have probably started. So, but this was probably our best lineup going into this game, and we had some far. The surprise was having Dillon there. Maybe everyone was expecting Pirano, but. Mm-hmm. I think this was going to be a physical game, and I guess that's why they brought him in, gave that physical presence, to start things off.
Robert or Royce, whoever wants to jump in next.
Yeah, this is pretty much what I called, once again, surprising. We know against Oakland Roots, Pirano started. But at the same time, this is something that we discussed in the preview for the Colorado Springs match that their center backs are super, they're super sketchy. They have a lot of, and we saw that in the Sacramento match where even Roro got behind them and beat their offside trap because they're completely unorganized. So why wouldn't you multiply that by 3? Pirano would connect the midfield to the forwards. You don't really need that. You're going to knock it. You're going to knock it for. She just bought me this jersey. Good Lord. That's
Nice.
my wife.
That jersey, though.
Completely derailed. Good
You
Lord.
always gotta love it when the wife pipes.
Anyway, yeah, pretty much. We know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have the double pivot midfield. They're gonna hoof it up top to the 3 forwards, and the 3 forwards are gonna do magic things as they always do. In this particular match, and it was very interesting to see what we've seen Pirano do is he'll push the offense. He will connect and he'll push. What Dylan does is he drops back and he defends and he presses a lot. And the same thing with the dinner, and that's what you see. And out of possession, Sam and JD will be back, and they'll be pressing, and they'll be the midfielders. And then in possession, they'll go forward, and they'll be those strikers. So they're both kind of in a hybrid role. And you saw how effective it was in this match, where we scored our goal before Colorado Springs even had their first shot. And that first shot, not even on goal. And I think they had 2 shots on goal the entire match.
Yeah.
And they only mustered 5 shots, spread around 5 shots the entire match. Like, that was a domination. And the biggest reason is because of the hard work of JD and the hard work of Sam, for sure. And as far as the midfield goes, it really does suck not having your first choice midfield period with Mo out and with PC out. That is your first choice. That is who got us here. Those are our horses. And for Delim and Maloney to fill in those spots as well as they have, it's been unbelievable. And this is one of those things where, you got lucky in the beginning of the season with, once again, one of the reasons why Alan Marcina deserved to win Coach of the Year. He did not have the same lineup play except for 2 matches the entire season. Other than that, all different lineups through injury, through just players not being available. And that we're kind of seeing the result of that because Delim has played in that Moabu role quite a bit, and Maloney has played quite a bit in that PC role, and they're comfortable in that, and they trust each other. And we're just seeing the benefits of that, and they've looked great. And the biggest concern, I guess we'll go over it later, but as far as this formation is, it surprised me a little bit, but at the same time, it's exactly what it needed to be.
Robert?
I mean, the biggest thing is like the exciting thing is that they brought in depth for this reason. Like in the event there's some unforeseen injury, and Delim's filled in like amazingly. And like when you circle that triangle between Dylan, Maloney, and Delim, work rate out off the charts. They're the guys that are like doing the dirty work, doing the things that like maintaining possession, passes. There's just little things that you just may or may not show up in the stat sheet, but those guys put in the work, and they inspire other people to just do that much more. So to me, I mean, this lineup was not a shock, and ultimately it came down to stymieing like Colorado. It's a situation where like we're trying to take advantage of their smaller like center backs and by putting in people that are like, have some presence, have some physicality. So to me, I mean, at the end of the day, those things led to like, what we did and how we ended up.
Matt, your thoughts?
I was very impressed rewatching the game and seeing how Dylan, Delim, and Maloney just conquered the mid. That's how. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they conquered that midfield, sweeping up all the chances they had. So I was very proud of that lineup. I think they did very well.
So moving on to the game here, and this is courtesy on YouTube, USL Championship, ESPN Plus, of course. Here, this is the highlights of the game here.
Par is fired up, so is this sold-out crowd tonight at Toyota Field. Sam Adeniran
What's up,
has
Spurs
the
and
ball
Chill?
at his feet. And for the first time in their history, San Antonio FC hosts the Western Conference Final.
And what a crowd. I'll just go ahead and say what a crowd.
The
Outstanding.
atmosphere was unbelievable for sure.
Pressure building here in San Antonio. FC will win an opportunity, but it's turned wide.
Was there anything else was there a different option that Sam could have done a little bit better?
He could have held it up, but at the same time, the keeper was way off his line, and he tried to go far post, and he just mishit it. Obviously, JD's making that run, but he's kind of covered a little bit, and Maloney's right there. If he would have just been a little patient, Maloney is wide open right there. But at the same time, keeper's not set, center backs aren't set, there's no pressure on him.
He's trying to catch him off guard, yeah. He's trying to catch him off guard.
And that far post is a left-footed shot. Anytime Sam Adeniran can get a left-footed shot off, I'm for it. We're probably gonna have a good time. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Will win an opportunity, but it's turned wide by Sam Adeniran on the edge of the box. This match has already featured fireworks in the early goings. Connor Maloney.
Yes, it did.
Oh, what a turn. What a turn.
Area. Carter Manley, edge of the box, trying to play it in, and it's defended out there by Tristan Hodge. Very different from what they've shown in the playoffs so far. Shannon Gomez slips past Maka.
What a pass.
This combo is unbelievable.
Gomez was on fire this game.
Gomez cuts
Gomez
on the inside.
runs up the back.
Dylan.
Yeah, running up the back, Gomez is one of my highlights for sure.
For sure.
Jasser Kamiri.
Okay, pause it real quick.
Santiago
We have to pause it. This is the important. There are two things that have happened between that last highlight. No, pause it. Just leave it. There are two very important things that happened between the last highlight and this highlight. The upcoming here is the first goal. The number one thing is Galena with the high boot to Tainer's face, only getting a yellow. Sure, it's an orange. I get it. The second one was Galena going in super late and giving a shoulder shiver to Farr after the ball had gone to protect goalkeepers, typically a yellow. So that's possibly 3 yellows right there for Galena, and he's still on the field only with 1 yellow. This is the play that ensues immediately after the foul on Jordan Farr. Jordan Farr kicks a goal kick and continue. This is a continuation of that goal kick.
And former host, Jose, this team plays for one another. Haven't seen that before in an SAFC team. I don't think we've seen the connectivity like they have. 2017 was probably the closest that I think that we.
And I disagree with that. I think the closest that I've ever seen a team was 2021, was last season, even 2020, and I think that's the culture that Alan Marcina's really brought in.
Yeah.
But last year was I think this is the foundation of it, and then this year was we added the right pieces that were missing from that OC game, and then also what we learned from last year is if we don't have a deep bench, we're not going to go far, and especially with this team getting in a lot of injuries, because we did get injuries last year. I think that was the whole plan out starting this season, and like I said, this team's on a mission. The chemistry's there,
and the biggest thing that we have hampered on, the biggest theme is they brought so many players back from last season, and it's the first time they've really done that where they kept a spine of a team together,
like the core.
And this is the result. They kept the core together,
and they brought back players that had bought into the system. They brought in Nacho, like Parano, so players that have bought into the system previously, and
and it's no secret here, and this is a compliment to John's team here. Lou City's been in the Eastern Conference Finals for every year they've been in USL. Tampa and Lou City's played in the last 4, I think it's last 4, if memory serves me correct, Eastern Conference Finals. It's because they have that core, and more importantly, they have that depth. And I think
that's it.
Phoenix Rising is probably the closest team out west that had that, and this year they
got rid of it.
They got rid of it, and we saw what happened.
Cameron Lancaster is still a Lou City player. Like, what are we talking about with like cores? Like, it's awesome. It's back like when the Scorpions had Rafa Castillo the entire time, and then continuing with SAFC. Like, this is what we've been hampering on.
Gibson.
This is what we've been hampering on. Like, keep the core together and keep that culture going. Continue with this because I want to watch this play without speaking.
Patino settles, tries to turn, and it's blocked back to the outside as Cam Lindley directs back out. Manley will put it out wide. Patino into the box. Maloney with another speed and puts it in! Connor Maloney! He puts us AFC on the board. 23 minutes.
His first professional goal of his career.
Well, no, Austin FC scored. Didn't he?
What a finish!
No,
Maloney.
he
No, it was that. No,
scored
it was
against
the open cup. That was
defeaters,
first defeater kicker.
and it was open.
That doesn't count.
It was Open Cup exactly because that's
There's a
kind
lot
of
of 12-year-olds and stuff on that.
that's an amateur team. That's correct.
That doesn't count.
I mean, their goalkeeper was half my age and chubbier than I was. So,
He was like 4'10" out a good day
yeah.
on a box.
And everybody all year has been saying Connor's due
Poor
for
kid
one.
just catching
Yes,
strays.
week after week, we were literally like
Yeah.
begging for it. Him and Abu.
Yeah. Yeah,
Jose Manley chanted his inner Ronaldinho with that pass to Patino.
yeah. It's kind of a
Oh,
Ravella
what a time to
pass.
score.
But that
Maloney
shot
kinda-
was not. Yeah, that shot was not a strong shot, but he just placed it right.
It was
Yes.
placed right, and Maloney throughout college, he went to Penn State, and he was a striker with Penn State, and
Was
you
he,
see
like,
some of
offensive
his
player of the year or
instances.
something?
Yeah,
What I liked about it is and this is what I love about San Antonio FC this year, is you could see Patino went out and he went to the spot that Patino should have been in if he would have been in there. So he knew exactly. If you rewatch the run, he knew exactly where to go for that here, which to me sets up that play, for him to be able to, convert,
Pull in
convert the
defenders.
goal.
pull in defenders, and that's it. And it gave all the space in the world for Maloney.
Former San Antonio FC player Cameron Lindley here.
This is well set up for Cam Lindley, and it's redirected.
Much respect,
wide as
Cam.
he was headed
Okay,
towards
pause real
frame.
quick. Pause real quick.
Hold on. what's this?
San Antonio FC dominated this match so much that that's a highlight for Colorado Springs. A shot off
But it
frame.
failed to score before halftime.
Unbelievable.
We'll feel good about generating something.
Here's probably
At the very least, a
their
positive
best
momentum
chance
before
on goal
going to
right
the locker
here.
room.
A
Flicked
flick on
on.
and a weak header.
Lands harmlessly here to Jordan Farr.
Unbelievable
Almost as if they're
performance by
looking for that
SAFC.
perfect
By the
pass and
defense,
that perfect service into the box, and it's just nowhere to be found. In the meantime, it's Sam Adenner in the other way. He bullies over Michael Edwards, able to get it
So
back
strong.
and give it a go as
He's so
Caldwell gets
strong.
fingertips on it
Insane.
to
He's
keep it away
fast
from
and big.
goal.
It's crazy.
Aaron doesn't quit on this. He turns. He doesn't even need to look where the goal is. And
Unbelievable.
Sin pushing it out wide is Galena. Galena, top of the box.
Galena was fan favorite this match.
Anderson puts it on
And
frame,
Shannon
saved by Farr.
Gomez shut
Best
Galena
build-up
down in
Colorado
this match.
Springs has had
Completely
all
put him.
night. Galena
Was
cuts
on
it back.
Rivas Island
Slips
when
Anderson, puts
Darrell
it on
Rivas
frame.
was in his
Sin,
prime.
pushing
Just
it
I'm telling you.
did
Like,
nothing.
So the reason why this play is important, and I know it says goalkeeper saved by Farr, but watch Kamarian. This will be
Yeah,
my
Kamari's
concern
rolled
here.
ankle. Yeah,
Galena, top
this is
of
where he
the
rolls
box.
his ankle right.
Galena, cuts
Here
it
he
just
yeah,
ran it.
he
That's
steps
just
on.
random. He stepped on the back of his leg.
He stepped on the back of his leg,
Anderson puts it
yeah.
on frame and a save by Farr.
And Kamari was
It's the best build-up
stretchered
Colorado
off,
Springs
and
has had all
He was
night.
in a
he
boot
had
and
crutch. Yeah,
he
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 had
was
a
in
crutch
a boot.
after the game.
aware of
And had a crutch after the
savvy
match, so.
play like that.
That's-
I mean, there's
Once
players
again,
out there that are
the-
really good at drawing that kind of stuff.
There's Hodge.
The walking
and we'll talk
injury,
about his possible loss if that's going to be the case.
It's huge. It's
Yeah,
huge.
that's-
Pirano.
Hmm.
Good touch. Pirano with his left. And
Yeah,
a great
just-
save by Caldwell, and he'll keep it in front of him.
Then
When-
get all the
When
Venmo
Pirano
on it.
came into the
Lindley
game, he
overlapping.
really opened
Colorado
up. He
Springs
opened it
getting
up.
forward.
Yes,
Right.
Lindley
he
to
did.
the back post.
He
Farr
brought us
punches it
up.
away. He's down. Foster picks it up, drives it into the box through, and it'll cut out.
And
All
there's
right,
the
so-
yeah. So here's the
Lindley
So,
overlapping.
We'll have to talk about this
Controversial
because this is
play.
Colorado's
Lindley to the back post.
saying
Farr
that this
punches
is
it away.
a
He's
PK
down.
here.
Foster
Right.
picks it up, drives it into the box through, and it'll cut out.
maybe.
Colorado
You see the ref's
Springs
looking
arguing for
directly
The
medal.
at
ref
it.
was looking right at him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but like you're fishing
Maybe.
at that point. You showed
And they
nothing.
get one through here inside the
From
box.
that-
The
So
shot
same
is
thing.
over goal.
I think he more steps back than
right
it being
side.
slide into him.
Had a
I
lot
mean,
of pace on
it's
it and tried
they're
to settle.
fishing like literally if they're not showing any type of
Cross.
promise.
Brought down by Wheeler.
And who knows where they got 10 minutes
Out
from,
to
I'm just going to
Foster.
say.
Foster.
Yeah.
into the box through a crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's-
right
it's
about like
pretty
in the
curious.
stadium they needed
Mary-
like how much time is extra? Like literally we were sitting there like, dude, are we going into overtime? I felt like
Oh,
there's like 15
it
minutes.
said plus 10. it said +10 on the board, and so I had +10 on my phone. But obviously, in the bunker, you're A, not going to see that, and B, you're not going to hear it. So
Yeah, we didn't know.
Counter.
No, I just
And
saw
then-
Skip
0.
past the defender. Pirano. Patino.
Just-
Patino will put San Antonio through.
I got so loud. I got insanely loud.
He doesn't play all year, but the playoffs.
Has to do it.
Yeah, el goleador. He just shows up in the playoffs
That's
every year. That's
I'm
all
not
he
gonna.
does.
I'm not gonna complain.
Capture the
It's
moment
like-
He's
as
there when you need him. I'm
You
not
seen
gonna
our leading
complain.
scorer in the playoffs?
San Antonio FC, for the first time in their history, will play for the USL Championship crown. Alan Marcina in year 3.
Come on, give him a second.
What can you say about
his club
Patino?
to the final dance.
Coach is gone.
Patino's like the Reggie Jackson of USL playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't play all year, and all of a sudden, like, it just scores
Mr.
all-
October, Mr. November. Well, now I guess he's a Derek Jeter of USL. He's Mr. November now. So
What I found funny is like Kerr and Watts are talking about it on their show. They're like, "Oh well, we don't know how to rate him because he doesn't play, but dude, he can score in the playoffs."
all that matters.
we're not sure what to think of him. It's like, dude, imagine if he played all year.
See, and that's the big reason for SAFC's investment into Santi is that they know his potential. They know he can score goals and gobs. He just has to stay healthy.
But that's probably
And-
what keeps him from playing in
Knock on
MLS
wood.
right
That's
now.
probably real loud on the microphone. That's my bad. Sorry, everybody that has a subwoofer. Oops, trying to knock on wood. No, but that's why he's worth the investment in the rehab, because he will score those goals, and whenever he does manage to stay healthy, like I said, knock on wood, he does stay healthy, he's going to score.
All right, so let's touch base on this real quick. And John, if you want to comment on this, because I'm pretty sure everybody in USL kind of laughed at this, but
Ford Madison did.
Fort Madison, a couple other pieces. So I think it was yesterday, right? Tuesday.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
yesterday.
So the Switchbacks decided to send out this lovely tweet. We would like to apologize not just to our fans, but fans of the USL Championship for the state of the referees Sunday night. The performance was at best subpar on both sides of the ball. We hope to continue to push the conversation forward and work with the league to try to improve the quality for everyone. And then they had push for VAR. They did tag pro referees in it. USL Championship. So kudos to them. For those that follow lower league soccer, this feels very Michigan Stars-ish when they played the Chattanooga FC last year, and there were some rough calls in that game. I think Michigan actually forfeited a game because they were upset so much about the referee action. So thankfully, the Switchbacks don't have another game to play to see if they would go that far. But it was very Stars-like for that here. So, John, since you're the guest, I know you were rooting, like most Louisville City fans, for the game here. But, Lou City is a respectable organization, we'll say. Your thoughts on if Lou
They've had
City?
their problems recently.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's the guest here. We'll get to that in a second.
Well,
Respectful is a strong word.
I was trying to think of a proper term, and I was like, well, I'll play it safe and nice.
I appreciate the thought, Harry, at least. So. Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that, because this organization, the Switchbacks, have, they've got a good thing going there in Colorado Springs. We actually went out to a match last season out there. I got a friend that lives in Denver, and lined it up with a Lou City match, and very welcoming fan base, beautiful stadium. I still don't know what that giant silver ball thing is. I'm trying to figure that out. That's outside of that stadium. But nevertheless,
It's their drop a comment box.
yeah, they're gonna have plenty of them after that tweet, I'm afraid. But yeah, it did seem a little on the sour grapes end of things. I think we can all agree that there has been some inconsistent refereeing, probably for you guys. I know there has been for us as well, and people have said that referees have showed bias to us in some matches and things like that.
I'll just say the offside call against Pittsburgh. I'm just saying,
Yeah. But a couple people mentioned this on Twitter as well. A lot of these refs are,
yes,
I guess what you call rookie referees,
young
very
referees,
young
yeah.
refs. And it's hard to find referees these days. I mean, they're not like a dime a dozen. So I think there's there's a lot to be said for this whole thing. But I mean, there might have been a few calls there that could have been a little go either way, but still, it's a little in the heat of the moment type tweet, but very professionally done. It wasn't just on the tweet; it was an actual graphic, so that took some time to form. So,
Rafa, and I know Royce is going to go into the impact this has on referee pool and developing referees, that type of stuff here. Your thoughts, if you want to kind of lead Royce into that direction or Robert into that direction, however you want to do it.
Well, Pro Ref did tweet back at him and say, "Hey, here's a link here. You want better officiating? Go sign up for the course. We need more refs." I mean, there is a referee shortage. Even like I said, when we cover high school, there's a high school referee shortage.
Well, at the club level here, we played with 2 referees because there wasn't enough referees up in Dripping Springs.
So, I mean, their comment is just, like I said, just a bunch of whiners and crybabies, just take the loss, I mean, it had, we would have probably, taken the loss and, hey, that's just part of the game. The referees are not going to catch everything. And I mean, even VAR still messes up too. They've robbed a couple games for my teams, but it's just the nature of the game. So, but like I said, they just put themselves in a bad spotlight. It's embarrassing for their club to act that way,
But to me, the handball that they're talking about, I don't think it's an actual handball by the letter of the rules because his arm wasn't up. His arm was down.
Unnatural position. Yeah.
That was an unnatural position because it was a slide tackle. So,
according to IFAB, that's not. You've seen that happen in the last couple of years in the Premier League, and that's never a penalty. The one that they're complaining about, the other, obviously they have that on video, and it's like, well, first of all, not a penalty, so sure. And then they conveniently cut out the part where the guy cup checks.
It was Edwards.
Pirano.
The guy got slapped by Pirano. No, he cup checked Pirano.
He cup checked Pirano like he grabbed his boys, and Pirano had a bit of a reaction to that, and that's why I think the ref was like, "Okay, you both kind of screwed up. It's a final or it's a conference final. I get it." But and then the other one was could be, maybe not, maybe so. Penalty against Garcia going down, but at the same time, Garcia wins the ball, and that's kind of why the ref was like, "Oh, he won the ball." So if he doesn't touch the ball, then sure.
My thing is, if they had 8 players, would they have that cross? Because it's like there's a lot of factors that led to it prior.
Yeah.
Like if they're down to 9, down to 8.
I mean, Galena should have been.
Does that even exist?
Galena should have been gone in the 21st minute. No, for sure, he should have. I mean, that was basically his 3rd yellow in the 21st minute. So they shouldn't even had Galena and. Then it would have been.
Hodge was the other one.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
They didn't complain about the one with the other game against RGV. With
that was the point that I brought up.
Tyler Derrick.
That was the point that I brought up.
That's a straight red.
Straight red.
That's a straight red anywhere.
But also all the screens that they kept on putting up against other players. It just where our calls for that. You had
but what
Colorado players initially standing in front, like. To have the SAFC players just run through them. So I'm like, where's that call?
If it's about reform, that's the thing.
What it comes down to is it's dangerous because it really brings possible violence and more scrutiny on refs who are a population who don't need that. Like, it's a tough job already. It's not an easy job, and we get it. People screw up. I mean, FCSC a couple years ago against New Mexico United went out, and we know it was bad, but at the same time, SAFC should have scored. Like, you can't just put it up in you can't have one poor call by a referee cost you a match. You have to take advantage. Yes. And from playing baseball, that's a big thing. You can't let the umpire, if you're on a 3-2 pitch and it's close, you can't take that. You can't take that because the umpires, A, they're only human. B, if it's close, hey, if it's close, they're going to call you out. You need to put without a shadow of a doubt, and you need to go. You need to win that. And You don't want to strike out looking when it's a big play and it's 3-2 and it's close. Protect the plate.
We can admit we had a game this year where refs deliberately didn't call anything for us. I mean, yeah, we were all pissed off, but nobody tweeted on anything towards the refs.
Right. Especially the club. Like fans, sure.
Like
The
I'll do
club,
it. I'll do it during the game, but after the game, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Colorado should take some of my coaching advice. It's like, don't let the refs win the games. Go out and score
Right.
the other team. That's what you need to do. So,
With Colorado, they haven't beat us in 2016. They haven't scored in 2019. Was it all the refs? Dude, you gotta let your play. Like, there's a lot of stats. That was not the game. Yeah.
And Jose, I think, has the best thing here to wrap this up. You need to be better than the worst referee. So
Fair enough.
And I mean, even on our level, I mean, we just went through all the levels. My kid plays CYO soccer. I had a ref a couple games this season because we didn't have refs, and for 5-year-olds, I mean, there is a ref shortage. The last thing we need to do is that. Like, we need more refs to be in the game. Like, what are we talking about? Like, just bad all around. Just bad look. Anyway, we don't need to put any more. Oh, what's up, Rafa? We don't need to put any more. We don't need to pay that any more mind. Let's get past it. As everybody should kind of get past it, especially Colorado Springs. So let's move on. And
dude, I get cut out. I get cut out. I'm behind the freaking flag, dude.
Rafa's the man.
His flag is legendary.
I love you, Rafa, man, but that should have been my shot.
You're all salty.
I should be in color. I should be in color too. There,
you should tweet it out. Harry, tweet it out. Now's your time. Like, you're sorry, but you should have been you.
So goalkeeper of the year. I know John was probably the second with Morton from Louisville. Who saved, I think, 50-some saves, did win the Golden Gloves for that here. I don't know if he really has much of a gripe with Jordan Farr with what he would have set the record if it wouldn't have been coming out the 75th minute for Matt Cardone's last match of clean sheets. And I know to me, it's a team award on that. But Jordan Farr, goalkeeper of the year, you think it's even close?
It's close. I mean, he was the most consistent goalkeeper. I mean, he didn't make bonehead mistakes, But like I said, he's going to give credit to his defense because the defense, defense wins championships, But he did make some incredible saves this year. And I mean, look at the clean sheets he did.
Well, I think
enough said.
In December when we do the silly, save of the year voting. I think he's going to have one side of the bracket pretty much all to himself. I think he won it 4, 5, 6 times, throughout the season for save of the week. Defense, Mitchell Tainer, to me should have been a candidate for MVP, but MVP is more offensive player of the year. The King,
El Rey.
There's some quality defenders in this league, but I think if you look at the production that he had defensively, but if you also add in what he contributes offensively and the leadership, I have a hard time believing that there was another defender out there this year that had the year that Mitchell had.
Agreed.
Coach of the year, we did not win. It went to the Memphis coach for that here. There's 3 coaches that were named, Arlen Marcina from San Antonio, Perriman from Memphis 901, and the Detroit City coach. His name's blanking out on me now here.
That guy. Yeah, that guy.
He's he did a hell of a job.
Trevor James
did a hell of a job. Is building a resume kind of like Bob Lilly up in Pittsburgh as being able to work miracles with a limited roster and get quality things there up in Detroit. So, John, I was listening to your show. You guys were a little bit concerned that Cruz wasn't mentioned here. You want to throw your claim in for the Louisville coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think we thought Danny might be in the running, at least maybe in the top 3. First full season as head coach of Lou City. We've had numerous injuries, which I'll kind of touch on here briefly. But I mean, it's been not an easy go. A lot of people said, there's an expectation for winning with Louisville City, but we don't take that for granted either. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, we've had a lot of success, but every season's a new season. Every game's a new fight and a new way to win or a new way to lose. And you've got to have good coaching to do that. So we thought Danny might be in the run, but well deserved. Memphis had a great season, kind of out of nowhere. I think a lot of people before the season didn't really look for Memphis to be all that strong, better.
I'll raise my hand.
Maybe that, but.
I did not think Memphis was going to. I thought they lost too much talent. I won't lie to you. I picked them to be more towards the bottom of the East. My only complaint about the East is that the bottom was so.
Talk about the cupcakes. Yeah.
So bad.
The basement of the East is the
There's a
basement
lot
of the
of
entire
cupcakes.
league. Yeah.
No offense.
No, none taken.
So, but that was my only thing. Was with their. To me, I know Colorado Springs was upset. Brendan Burke didn't get nominated. I know Louisville was. You can also do Neil Collins, with Tampa because he's an excellent coach as well. So there's a lot of quality coaches in here, which I wish MLS would start to open up their eyes to outside of the Hollywood coach there in San Diego. We'll just say that isn't even really the coach.
Oh
But
God! If he's not announcing in game, MLS game before his playoff game, allegedly, he's not committed. Anyways,
he got a red card. He got a red card at Louisville City when he was there.
Yeah.
I'm not a Landon Donovan fan, so I'm sure that doesn't help my impression of him. So the playoffs at this time, I think probably for the first time in many, many, many years, number 1 seeds on both sides survive. I don't know if it was the bye week that they avoided all the silliness in the conference quarterfinals, but to me, the 2 best teams, San Antonio and Louisville. I know we kind of talked about, obviously, San Antonio, Colorado Springs. You want to talk a little bit about, the Rowdies match, which was a fun match, although there was a, pardon the pun, a boneheaded play by a certain player from Lou City.
I see what you did.
Boo, boo, Harry, boo.
Come on, dude, that was perfect.
Yes, that was very boneheaded. Looking back at this rivalry between the Rowdies and Lou City, I mean, we met last year in the conference championship at Tampa. It was a heartbreaker for Louisville City. So there was a lot of revenge going into this match. The season was really built around it. The team videographer shooting a documentary. The very first episode is reliving those probably the worst moments in Lou City fandom when we lost that game at the Rowdy. So a lot went into this match. It was very physical, 26 fouls between the clubs.
Can I interrupt you?
Yes.
If losing in the Eastern Conference Final is the worst moment for Louisville City, I don't have much pity for you, man.
Well, I know. Well, like I said,
we've had a few struggle years where we're right at the playoffs, and then we missed.
But it was a great match. Both of our playoff games going into extra time. Luckily, this one did not go to the penalty shootout because our hearts couldn't take it, I don't think. But Lou City picking up the victory with Elijah Winder scoring in the second half of extra time at the very beginning. So it was a very long second half of the extra time for us. There was, Tampa always plays us very tough. They have a very strong style play. And we got, we made some, Danny Fondas made some great saves when he needed to, but this was more so of a total team effort. Danny Cruz is great at making substitutions at the right time, and he made some great subs in this game as well. So I think that led to the victory. And got us back into the championship game. So. Can't hear you.
I was on.
Carry on.
Oh, there we go.
I was doing the Royce.
Shut up.
So to kind of preview Louisville City, unfortunately, we have to go to the not so good part, which also was a story at this last game here where ownership with the Yates report, NWSL, you can go through and read it. Racing Louisville, I believe it is, was not put in the best light. Management, ownership, along those lines. So just your kind of thoughts from being local there. Obviously, we have our opinions as outsiders, but obviously it's not our club for that here. So just if you want to say something on the Yates reports and about the ownership and something along those lines, because I do know watching your show that there's still some drama going on with TIFOs and flags that supposedly there was a wind advisory, so no flags were allowed this last match for that here. So we'll let you spill whatever you want to spill on that topic. And then if anybody wants to ask any questions or comment on that, go ahead.
Well, since this is not 24-hour Purple People, I can completely spill everything I want to say with no repercussions from any friends of mine, fan base. No. So yeah, when that report came out, it was devastating to the Purple fam, as we call it in Louisville. We were everybody was just shocked and appalled by it. And it really did put a very bad light on the front office. Soccer Holdings owns both Racing Louisville and Louisville City FC. So this is all kind of under the same umbrella. Throughout the week after the report, we were kind of waiting for a statement from the club, things like that. Those statements did not come. Finally, we got a statement that we thought was a little bit on the unacceptable side, if not all the way unacceptable. Very cut and paste feeling. And as this has gone on, a lot of supporters have felt like they couldn't go to a game. They find ways to protest. For example, I personally have not spent a dime, other than the fact that I am a season ticket holder. I have not spent a dime at the stadium since it's happened. Now, I will say I find ways to support my favorite bartender, so she's not out of some extra cash. Maybe slip or something. We're a card-only stadium, so I try to take care of the people. But yeah, it's been tough. There has been TIFOs made and stuff like that, of course, are talking about the situation in different ways. At this last match, the Coopers, which is the main supporters at Louisville City, were told no banners, no flags because of the wind advisory. By the time the game started, the wind had died down significantly. By the time probably 30 minutes in, there was no wind. A friend of mine went to ask about the flags. Ken from our show was kind of denied. The relationship between the club and the supporters has changed a lot in the last couple of, since the reports come out. But it's very strange because we've been so organic since the beginning. A lot of times I tell my friends that go to a lot of games and stuff that we helped build this, and we really did. The supporters, just like you guys, all teams, that you help build this club and make it financially successful and make it a cornerstone to your community and something that you hope is going to be a positive thing for your community. Your heart is in it. And for this to happen has just been, and everybody doesn't know exactly how to react because you want to support the players. You want to have your enjoyment that you get out of going to matches, but at the same time, you will not stand for something that is so disgusting. So,
for sure.
Yeah. I will go on about flags if you'd like. So the banners we have been hanging, so they're protest banners. Since the protest banners, we have not been putting up the usual banners, and we have kind of like a setup. I used to be the main TIFO guy for Louisville City. If you Google Louisville City TIFOs, you will see some solid TIFOs and you'll see some really horrible ones. I did the solid ones.
Let's level set. Thanks for level set. There you go.
Let's flex a little bit.
Guys, I'm out of here. There's not enough room for me and John's ego, so I'll take it.
I love it.
John is the Picasso of the tifos.
But yeah, well, I do a lot of the banners and help hang the banners for the game. So we quit doing the banners we always did, and there was a lot of the protest banners. For this last match, our plan was to do a combination of both, right? Because I think you can do both. That's kind of how I'm getting through this situation. I'm saying in my mind that I want change with the front office, and I want things to change in a positive manner, but I also want to support this team. This is a special club for us. And so we were going to do both, and we weren't allowed to do either. But we think it's ultimately because they didn't want those protest banners out. They didn't want those in the highlight shots. You can tell that the team in some clips, I think, are trying to avoid those banners in the shots. Of course, with the USL highlights, I don't know if you noticed, it's like you're watching Instagram through Twitter, through Facebook all at once. Like the camera's panning and it's a square, then it's a rectangle, and you're like, what is going on? So who knows? But nevertheless, it's been tough on everybody because the people that go to the tailgate, the people that go to the games in the Cooper section, drummers, capos, all that kind of stuff, it's been the same for so long. And it's kind of it's split some people, and not in the fact that, of course, everybody is on the same page when it comes to sexual abuse and things of that nature, but it splits some people on how to move forward, I think. So it's just been challenging and something that we're all dealing with in our own way. So,
and to be fair, for full disclosure, San Antonio FC is owned by the San Antonio Spurs. Since the H reports came out, there was Josh Primo had an incident where he was exposing himself to with the psychologist, I think it was the team psychologist or somebody medically with the team.
Team psychologist,
multiple times. So unfortunately for San Antonio FC, it's not squeaky clean either as far as for ownership on what they possibly did or didn't do and their lack of response.
And the big thing with the Spurs and Primo situation, obviously the Spurs have released Primo since, and we don't exactly know the whole story. We've heard one side of the story,
right? And
we still have to wait for the other side to come out. Obviously,
still not a good look, but
it's still not a good look.
For full disclosure, since we're looking at Louisville,
correct? Because it's kind of
we got to also look at ourselves here as well, because there is something with our ownership group. That's why I bring it up.
Correct. Well, it's not the ownership. I guess you can say it's the ownership. That's fine. This is a thing that is happening throughout the country, throughout sports organizations, and it needs to get cleaned up. And we need to be better as fans of keeping the teams that we support more honest and just hold them to a higher standard. And that's the big thing that we need to do as fans of all sports teams throughout the world.
I mean, we can admit we've gone to things just like the Coopers on our side with the bunker right after the Austin game. I mean, it is many of those like trying to push towards MLS, like MLS standards. We can feel it. Like trying to be a little bit strict on us. We can feel it, but ultimatum is there is a soccer personality that it's not going to fit every clarification for that. So it's not just dogs. There's other teams that are feeling it too.
Robert, any comments, or Rafa, any comments you have before we move on to actually previewing Louisville City?
I mean, it's unacceptable on any level. I mean, at the end of the day, like, people got to go to work and feel comfortable. Like, to me, I mean, and it's good that they spoke out. Absolutely. I respect it. I appreciate it. And how can you not back it? Because you want the right thing to be done at the end of the day, period. No matter what, no matter if we're in San Antonio, dude, at the end of the day, this is about doing right by people. Bottom line.
So moving on to brighter things, we got one more match. It's the last match in U.S. soccer, professional soccer, I guess I should say here. San Antonio, Louisville, MLS is done. They had I'm not an MLS fan, but they had a pretty fantastic final that LAFC won on PKs.
ML who? ML who?
Yeah. But
Yeah, don't read that.
dude, you got to give it to Garth Bale, dude. Comes off the golf course and
For sure, off the golf course, he got a lucky header.
Harry, you were complaining about the U.S. having an MLS, strong side, and Gareth Bell is Wales' best player, and he's in MLS. So let's calm down.
Yeah, and guess
MLS
what?
heavy
And guess
complaint.
what? He's gonna play 5 minutes maybe? 'Cause the dude can't play. He can hardly move. He was just lucky, and he jumped 6 inches, and he headed it in. Dude, don't get me wrong. But
What do you think, Florentino? What do you think Florentino let him go? Ancelotti.
why do you think he's in MLS, Royce? Why do you think he's in MLS? Nobody else wanted him.
It's what comes down to
Won a championship.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But what comes down to it, what the complaints about, especially from from the locker room in Real Madrid, he was not a hard worker, and for him to, when Ronaldo left, he should have. That was his opportunity to step up. The one that did step up was Benzema. Both of them should have been the team leaders of the team, and his work ethic really kind of didn't mesh with the players, and I think they saw him as a cancer, and that's why you're seeing him play at
Rafa,
LAFC.
this isn't a Real Madrid.
Benzema.
Relax, relax, Ralph.
Benzema.
But I'm just saying.
And Barca didn't pay their taxes. We know. We know all that.
Benzema really stepped up and blackmailed his teammate. Yeah. Anyway, we're trying to preview the USL Championship final. We're trying to preview the USL Championship final.
There is one thing that we do have to congratulate Sebastian Gabaga, who was on the 2017 USL Defensive Player of the Year. Went to New York City FC. Did win a title with LAFC, and he started and played all. I think he played all 90 or all 120 minutes of it.
Season.
So he did.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Sebastian, and like I said, a world-class player. And even SAFC tweeted that out, which I think that's probably one of their first
MLS, yeah, I think
related
so.
tweets that comes out.
But when your precious boy goes out and succeeds, you got to support him regardless of what league.
And it's
he's
not
in,
Austin, so it's okay.
Yeah.
And
It's not Austin.
They tweeted the shit out of Austin.
It's
though.
okay.
It's not that green team. It's not that green team.
The stupid Broccolis.
The team 15 minutes from here, I don't think they got any hardware like us. So
Yeah, screw the Broccolis.
Yeah.
So moving on to Louisville City. We'll start with you, Royce. Your kind of expectations, your lineup. Kamiri, you think he plays, doesn't play? It's the last game of the year for a title. I think, does he take a shot and take an actual shot in the ankle and test it out, or not, depending on the severity of it, of course.
Right. I'm not a doctor. I don't know, and I have not
been
been able
Holiday
to.
and my friend.
Well, that's Rafa. Rafa,
Oh, that's
you
right.
He's not the curtains to prove it.
are they going to pull off like a Coach Bud Kilmer like in Varsity Blues?
We are not sponsored by Holiday Inn Hotels.
or like Quinta.
Good.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, we
would
derailed.
accept any sponsorship.
Derailed.
We could.
Derailed.
Yes, sir.
John, I apologize. This is off the rails. Anyway,
You haven't seen my show before.
Their show's exactly the same. I watched a couple episodes. I was like, hey,
no.
this is just like our show. Just
Welcome.
no. As messy as his tifos. Oh no. Anyway,
He's got the good ones. Not the messy ones. That's the other guy. That's the other guy.
anyway,
that's the not looking John.
Yeah.
Sounds like someone's T-Pose, I know.
so real quick.
Whoa. Pump the brakes, sir.
My air taintor is perfect. Anyway, I know who you're talking about. Anyway,
So does everybody else.
unfortunately. So real quick to preview it, let me get in preview mode. So LA, and let's go with the last match that was played because that's going to be the freshest in everybody's mind. Louisville City implemented a 4-3-3, and they went against Tampa Bay Rowdies in a 5-3-2. A 5-3-2 is kind of what SAFC would play, and Tampa Bay kind of plays a little similar. They're a little more offensive-minded in their 5-3-2. SAFC,
You
I
mean they
expect.
don't just pass to pass to pass to pass? Dude, that. No offense to you, John, but that was the most frustrating match to watch. Was Louisville or not Louisville, Tampa, pass. Oh, send it back. I felt like I was watching Darren Powell, and I love Darren Powell, don't get me wrong, but at certain times it was just like pass with no intention of scoring. Sorry, my bad.
That's exact. So Tampa has a similar formation, but they have it more for tiki-taka to have the triangle spread around. SAFC is more direct. They're going to stay back. Louisville City is going to they're going to be more of and sometimes going to be that 4-5-1 and the 4-3-3 out of possession, and then in possession they'll kind of come out. They're a quick transition team, and they're going to go into SAFC, who's a kind of sit back team. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Louisville had a kind of a tough time. And kind of the common opponent that we both had and we both lost to was Indy 11. And Indy 11 was a sit-back team and, come after us, possess the ball, which is why SAFC didn't do too well against them. And the same thing why Lou City didn't do too well against them is and that's going to kind of be the interesting thing, is to see who has the majority of possession in this match, because both teams don't really care for possession. So
it won't be us.
It probably won't be us.
Guarantee that.
So we'll see what happens. And Louisville's center backs are a lot more stable, a lot more competent, dare I say, than Colorado Springs center backs. So that'll be an interesting match. I think it's going to be a very similar lineup to Colorado Springs, where you're going to have the three strikers up top, and you'll have everybody else kind of in their typical formation. Things to watch for. It's going to be a heck of a match. I don't even want to think about what to look for the entire match, because it's going to be a spectacle and it's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Do you think it's going to be physical?
Oh God!
No, everybody's just gonna. Yes, it's gonna be the most physical.
You know what I mean.
We don't know a different brand of soccer, sir.
Correct. No, it's gonna be very physical. It's probably gonna be cagey. I think the first half will be cagey.
Chippy.
They'll be kind of feeling each other out, and that second half, I think, is gonna be a hell of a
Electric,
45 minutes. It's gonna be electric. It's gonna be a roller coaster ride for sure.
Rafa, your thoughts on San Antonio?
Like I said, this is going to be a chess game. Who's going to make the right, the lineup, the right substitutions, the tactics, and then the players making the right decisions. Not trying to play something that you shouldn't be playing. Good, keep the system up. So, like I said, it's a battle of the Titans, and whoever makes the mistake, like I said, it's probably going to tip the balance of who wins this game. I think with SAFC, like I said, if we get the first goal, we haven't lost a game when we score first. And I don't know how
we scored period. When we've scored period, San Antonio has not lost.
So and then I don't know what kind of mentality will have that if they fall behind. And then I think the other factor,
they came back from Pittsburgh down 2-0 in the 80th, and first goal in the 80th, and then I think second goal 83rd, 84th minute. So this team, the Louisville will not give up. Sorry, John, not to jump in for you, but
you're good.
Louisville's one of those teams that I think if this game's 1-0, you can, even if San Antonio looks comfortable.
Yeah, you can't count on it.
You can't count Louisville out. This is one of those teams that could strike at any time.
You have to be mentally prepared for this game, focus. But I think another factor in is going to be the crowd. I mean, that could, just more motivation for the team. I mean, that could tip the scale for this. So, but like I said, this is gonna be a great game. The top two teams from each conference and 2 1 seeds, and what more do you want? And
real quick to finish up my preview, just something that I kind of forgot about, but it's very important to include, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, is that obviously PC and Moabu will not be in the match. They'll be out, and that hurts in the middle of the park. And at the same rate, we'll see how healthy Kamiri is. So SAFC is dealing with quite a few injuries. I don't know if Blue City has any significant injuries. We'll turn over to John on that. But they'll definitely be missing Corbin Bone there in the middle, who had a red card in their conference final match. So we'll take it over to John to kind of preview.
Well, I was going to do Matt, and then we'll do John last.
Okay, fair enough.
Matt, your thoughts?
What about me?
You're last, dude. Reason why I'm putting you last.
You're promoted, sir.
Reason why I'm putting you last is you're a Vikings fan, and purple transitions to purple. That's called transitioning.
I'm a 7-1 Vikings fan.
He got it there.
I'm a 7-1 Vikings fan, sir. Mark the tape.
I do feed off of what Royce and what Rafa said. I think our main big thing is the crowd. The crowd's been, oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I just zone out just watching this game because the crowd's just so electrifying. And it, like Roy said, it does hurt having a PC and a boo out, but just praying to God that, and to the soccer guys, that Kamiri's ankle gets better. What's there to say? This team's gone deep into their lineups before, and I could say it. Maybe they'll be a 33rd or 34th lineup. Who knows? But it is my main thing is the crowd. The more people that come in, whether it be from Lou City or whether it be from San Antonio, that crowd needs to be very hectic and very aggressive.
Yeah, I'm not sure who, and John, we'll get your comment on this here. But Roy Bua Gonzalez mentioned Lou City is giving tickets to all their season ticket holders and providing them with transportation, something to keep in mind for the amount of Lou City fans that we'll see in the crowd. I do believe there will be a great group from Louisville City. And I'm going to say this here, and I know this is for all of us on both sides here. Treat each other with respect. It's a game.
Yes.
It's 90 minutes.
It's all love.
Don't be that asshole that does something that disrespects each franchise. And this goes for both Louisville City and San Antonio fans.
That's fair.
This was meant to be a celebration. Yes, during the 90 minutes and maybe even a few minutes after the games while everybody's kind of decompressing, emotions will be high, but just don't be an asshole. Treat each other with respect.
For sure.
Along those lines, especially to the people from Louisville City. I've made the trip up there. Robert's made the trip up to Louisville City. And I did it when it was at, the old Slugger Field, and the fans were nothing but nice, and the tailgate was awesome. And it's a great city to go visit. Number one, number two, they were a class organization. I think that's been knocked down as we've discussed. But to me, the fan base is one of the top fan bases in USL, in my opinion, in US soccer. Sure. So for that here, Robert, I know you mentioned you've been to Louisville.
I did.
So we'll let you wrap it up, and then you can turn it over to John, the other purple fan.
John, real quick, one quick question: is it Louisville or Louisville?
Oh, I was waiting for somebody to ask.
That's my first question before I proceed.
There's about 5 different ways I hear it pronounced. I say
or say
Louisville.
Louisville. It's like
the one way that you can't say it is like Louisville, or I'm not a big fan of the Louisville. Louisville is like the worst,
Louisville.
like St. Louis.
Robert, you couldn't ask this an hour and 8 minutes ago, way in case I was saying it all wrong.
I'll jump in here real quick.
Harry, calm down. It's my final moment.
I did this.
Let me shine.
I did the civil work on a CVS in Louisville, and I had a call, and I had to call the city and coordinate with them for certain things. And the first time I said I was hi, I need to speak to somebody with is it Louisville Light and Power?
You said like one
and
thing.
I said Louisville Light and Power, And the lady's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's Louisville. And I'm like, okay, Louisville. That's fine.
I just
That's
said
fine.
Louisville.
Have it your way. I don't want to anger you because I want my thing passed as soon as possible. So however you want me to say, if you want me to call it Timbuktu, hey, I'm all for it.
You're
Let's
like,
go.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let's get this going. No, but like, yeah, no. The key to the game, in my mind, is if you let us score first, it becomes a whole different ball game. And we're gonna press. Our best offense is or anyone's turnover. So the key to it is like, God, and it's all respect because we have a deep bench. You guys have pulled people off the bench. So the bottom line is like, God, may the best team win. Hopefully it's us. That's all I want.
John, your thoughts from a Louisville side here. I listened to your side here, and part of the reason why I brought you on is I don't know. I've watched Louisville matches, but I don't watch Louisville matches. I'll have it on as entertainment and to watch, but I no way study Louisville. So your thoughts on from a Louisville perspective coming in. I know you guys are also dealing with major injuries as well. I know the Morton may or may not play. I think odds are. I think I saw on social media, that most likely he is not. But of course, nothing official along those lines. I don't believe.
Yeah, we're not sure on Morton yet. It was kind of strange. He just kind of had that injury, and we've had Danny Fondez in that position as goalkeeper, and he's done a pretty good job with us. He's had, I think he had 6 starts this season. He actually started the year with us. He was a walk-on tryout for us, and he was on loan to Northern Colorado for a short period. Actually played in the U.S. Open Cup for them in that win over Colorado Springs. But he's done well, and we're happy for that because Kyle Morton, the Golden Glove winner, was an MVP for us this season, 13 clean sheets. The clean sheets can be a little deceiving for this squad because we find that getting the ball in the attacking third for our opponents can be difficult at times. We have a very strong midfield, some veteran presence with Paulo Del Piccolo being a key component to that as well. The big defensive juggernaut we've had is Sean Tosh, who has been on the all-league team at center back 3 years straight in the USL. This year he set his personal record 9 goals, which is pretty impressive for a center back. He's just a defensive presence, something Coach Cruz has really elaborated on at the start of the season. It's been big on clearing the ball, clearances in general. It's something that cost us last year dearly. So it's something that we've really improved on. Manny Perez, who was a new signing for us, came over from, he spent some time with Portland Timbers. He's on the right wing. He's been kind of an unsung hero, quietly having a great year. He's just been an anchor out there. But defensively, I think both of these squads are defensive presence is an understatement. I mean, they just have great defense. But looking at our strikers, Danny switches up that line up the formation at times. We see the 4-3-3 for the most part, but up top you're going to see Enoch Mushagalusa as well as Wilson Harris. Those are 2 new players for us. Cameron Lancaster started the season and was injured about mid-season, has not been playing for this squad, who has set the record, the team record. 72 points is the highest we've had. It's impressive to see these newcomers come in. They're going to be pushing hard. They are, there's Enoch I get onto a lot on our show because he seems to hold on to the ball a little bit, doing a lot of extra dribbling, but he's extremely talented. Both of those players came over from Sporting Kansas City too, and they've both been great for us. Wilson Harris led the team this season with 15 goals, and they've both been really good. I think that, some other key players probably in this one. It's going to be interesting to see how Brian Ownby, if we end up starting Brian Ownby. Ownby's been around since 2017. He's been injured as of late. He came on as a substitution against Tampa Bay. He came in, I think, in the 64th minute, lasted the rest of the match. He is, we always say playoff Ownby. One of the things we were talking about earlier this year on 24-Hour Purple People were who's going to be the playoff Ownby this season, because playoff Ownby is somebody that like steps it up to a whole nother level. We haven't had him until the 64th minute of that match with Tampa Bay. It's going to be interesting to see if he starts in this one. If not, you're probably going to see Ray Ciarano, which is a 21-year-old, has been very solid for us as well. But of course, we'd rather see Ownby. He's got that veteran presence, and he's just been great for us over the years. I think really the key to, and I think one of you guys talked about it, the key to this one is not allowing San Antonio to score first, because when I was looking up stats for San Antonio FC, the biggest one in the last 45 games when scoring the opening goal have not lost, which is unbelievable.
Our house too.
Unbelievable. So, and I think that's going to be a key, is just starting off hot, not making any silly fouls or mistakes in the early going. We play physical, not dirty. We do play physical, and sometimes, just like with Bone the other day, situations happens like that, and you just go, oh my gosh. So we can't make any of those silly mistakes. We have to have composure.
We've done them. We're well aware.
We have a few.
Yep.
It's only against Yuma, but yes.
No, the Yuma, fuck Yuma.
Oh, dude. Hopefully you never have to. You're fine. I've said it a couple times here.
But yeah, we also have Elijah Winder and Josh Winder. They're brothers that came up through the Louisville City Academy.
Highly rated.
Yes, Josh is 17 years of age. Elijah is 19 years of age. Elijah had the game-winning goal against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
These guys are going to be superstars. Joshua is actually the, I guess, a higher prospect, you could say, in a lot of ways. They're talked about more anyway. But these guys can make a big difference. Josh, you usually see in the midfield, attacking midfield, Elijah up top. But it's going to be interesting to see, because Danny, it seems like every game he makes just these great substitutions at the right moments. He really reads what's going on in the field, changes up some things, and can really adapt. And, one of his big things is, he talks about this every match, is just believing in the team. We went down a man in that match in the 82nd minute, playing the rest of the way all the way through extra time. The team really brought that mentality, and I think that's kind of what pushed them through. It's going to be tough playing at Toyota Field in that environment. You guys have great support. I casually will watch some Western matches after I get home from Louisville City games. I don't remember a lot of them. But you guys have great support. It's a beautiful pitch, and I'm looking forward to the match on Sunday. I think it's going to be a great match, and I think these teams are really going to represent the league well. And I give you 100% guarantee you will not see any tweets about the refereeing from our side. So
yeah. Colorado.
Thank you for the warm welcome. Our supporters,
for sure.
They're going to be really cool. I guarantee it. We're the same way. We love. There was a ton of Rowdies. Well, not a ton, but like probably about 10 Rowdies fans at the tailgate, and everybody was just like, "Bourbon? You want bourbon? Who wants bourbon?" So they're very.
We'll bring it this way. We'll bring it this way.
Yeah. So
super great. Super great. Bullet, all that good stuff.
Yeah, but I'm really excited about it.
So we're going to talk U.S. men's national team. If you want to stay on, you can. If not, if you want to give your last words and hop off, because I do know it's almost 10 o'clock where you're at. So
yeah, sure.
If you got wife and family, I'm sure you'd like to say hello to them. And I know you spent an hour and some minutes with us, and we greatly appreciate it. And we'll have to do this again if we meet up next year, which it would not shock me, because MLS or USL tends to they met in the finals. a ESPN match. We'll have a regular season match probably in Louisville.
I would just like to say thanks for having me on. If you guys want to check out any of our shenanigans, we're 24-hour Purple People. We have a YouTube channel, things of that nature. We do a lot of really silly stuff. Some of it's just ridiculous. Make little videos. We have a lot of video game tributes to Louisville City and things like that. So check us out on YouTube if you like. I really appreciate you guys having me on. You know, one thing you talked about was your coach has been creating this culture, and I think Royce said over the last couple of years that it's really building into something where there's this mentality and it's building. And that's something that I hope that our supporters don't take for granted, because that's something we've had at Louisville City for a while. It really does make a key difference. And I love seeing that you guys support your club, have this show. It's awesome. So I really appreciate you having me on, and it's great to meet some new folks out there. So good luck on Sunday. I'm sorry I wish I could come meet you all in person, but I'm sure it'll be good.
Can I ask John one question?
No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mute him.
No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I promise you. John, bourbon. Which is your favorite?
Favorite?
You're from Kentucky. What's your favorite? Bullet.
Basil Hayden.
Nice, Basil Hayden.
So if you're a rookie like me, if you were to start out with a bourbon, what would be your recommendation?
Dickel, George Dickel.
Man. That's a great question. That's
not Jack Daniels, sir.
No.
No. Wait a minute.
Tennessee stuff.
That's
up north. That's
Tennessee,
up north.
yeah.
That's up north or south. Bullet. I took the tour. I know.
Maker's Mark is not bad for a starter bourbon, and also Four Roses. Throw that one out there for you.
Four Roses.
Good starter bourbon. We have a lot of it. Too much, to be honest with you.
There's many.
Never too much bourbon. So,
No,
but thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Yes, sir.
I do want to thank John from 24-hour Purple
For sure.
People coming on. Great guy. Watched a couple of his shows. Getting ready for the show here. If you can, go if you can subscribe to his channel, just like with ours, like and subscribe if you can. It helps build up their numbers, helps make them more relevant, just like it helps us be more relevant. But I watch their shows. It's just like us, just casual people, just talking and BSing and having fun. And I do want to thank Benton from VamosMorados.com. And he had a good preview, and I actually reached out to him first, and he referred me to the handsome John for that here. So, he did bring some good looks to the show here, although another purple person, which, it's the reason why Robert left here.
I came back real quick.
So now that he's gone, one thing that I want to touch base on, the last two matches, San Antonio has completed about 50% of their passes. Can they get away with that against Louisville City, playing that same style?
What are we talking about? Yes,
God, dude,
what are we talking about?
No, sir. No, don't get me started.
You turn it over.
I think what needs to improve as far as quality passes is more on the attacking side to create chances. I know we do a lot of balls cleared out from the back and so forth, but I think if we're going to win this game, we've got to get better passing inside the 18. And then just to get Patino to get those cleared shots for Didrin or Dylan, whoever's in the lineup. I think if we can execute there, because I've seen what we've done, a lot of those wall passes, we do a lot of damage when we do complete those, and it opens a lot of opportunities. So I think if we can improve on that, not so much about the other stuff, clearing out and all that, I think we can win. I mean, we can win this game.
I think it's a fair question, though, because when you look at the game historically, if and Rafa's talked about it here, 70%, I think it's 70% is kind of your magical number that you feel comfortable if SAFC has 70% completion. I think if we lowered it down to 60%, but we've been below that at this time here. And And I think part of it is how the game has been, because we got up early against Oakland, we got up early against Colorado Springs, and I have a feeling if we get up early against Louisville, my concern though, and I pointed this out here, Louisville's one of those teams. It's almost like facing RGV in a way. It just takes one shot, and Louisville's that type of team. They have that mentality. They'll convert. Where Colorado Springs, and no offense to Colorado Springs fans, I had zero confidence on you guys scoring in this match, especially how the game was playing out. But Louisville City, I don't care if it's 89 minutes and we're up 1-0 and there's stoppage time in 2 minutes. I'm still freaking worried because Louisville City has the talent, the depth, and the mentality to be able to finish, to be able to put a goal in the back of the net.
Well, that was kind of the thing with Colorado Springs. I mean, all season is they could score at will whenever they wanted to. And this is kind of where I'm going to go. And Harry, you nailed it on the head. You just kind of passed it up. If SAFC has more than 60% possession, more than 60% passing,
66, not possession.
Hold on. I know. They're related. 60% passing percentage is probably 60% possession. That means we're chasing a goal. If we score early like we normally have, then we let them have the ball, we wait for our opportunities, and we strike. And that's what we need. And that's the typical prototypical game. That's the game plan that we want to set, or SAFC wants to set, and that's what they're going to go after. And that's why those numbers don't matter. Everybody looks at those numbers and, wow, they got played off the pitch and they barely won. No, that's the game plan. If the game plan goes right, SAFC scores first, they let it all happen, and the other team has to try to break SAFC's defense down, which we've seen. They have the defender of the year. They have the goalkeeper of the year.
Yeah.
It's very hard to break down. That is the game plan.
And they have 2 shots on goal.
That is by design.
It's like, dude, it's stats. At 2 shots on goal, that's what matters. Not even quality chances.
No.
But
Matt,
for our end, but for our end is like, for a team, like I said, Louisville is a more quality team than Colorado. But on the attacking side, we do need to be a little bit better at passing on their side of the field to convert. And like if you look at the last game, like Pirano sending that great pass to Partino to seal the deal. That's what we need to be a little bit more consistent on. A little bit better. I would feel more comfortable because the more we can pepper them with shots, like I said, Patino, like I said, we have the guys like Patino and Dearden that can put hat tricks. But if we do quality passes in that area, we're gonna, this could turn into a rout because we have the offense. Even though we're more of a defensive team, we do have the forwards that can rout you. Perfect example of some of the games we had earlier during the summer.
And my thing is, like, is Louisville literally the team you're talking about? Are they that much better in Colorado? If they were in the West,
I don't think so.
Where would they be?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they're horrible, but where would they be in the standings? They'd be in the 3 or 4 slot in my mind.
And that could be a factor too.
Not saying they're horrible. They're not. Yeah, not number 1 over here.
I mean, who's more battle tested? I know we are,
but
I mean,
I'm not saying they're horrible. I'm not gonna.
No,
now how much?
It's not a knock on them.
And I'll start with you, Matt. Here, how much weight do you give to Louisville?
Alexa, turn on Matt's lamp.
Well, maybe we won't go.
It's like,
there's no power.
I have a ghost here, man. It turns up the light at random times.
Dude, one day after the election, we can't go there.
Looks like blackout at Toyota Field has reached Matt's place. Wow.
Pay the bill, buddy.
Experience in a finals game, does that matter at this level? Yeah, we'll start with you, Matt, and then ask around.
Experience? Yes and no. Yes, because I know how much our defense has been challenged, how much Jordan Farr has been challenged, how much the midfield's been challenged. With having so many lineups and having so many different people in that back end, I feel like yes, but at the same time, they know each other. So to me, it can go either way. You can say yes, the experience, or you could say just from them clicking.
Robert?
I mean, yes, but no. I mean, it's not, you can't denounce the experience. It's like there's some nerves, like there's going to be some, but the reality is, like they talked about earlier, Louis has a ton of young players. They're not
It's
experienced.
not the same team. Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with that.
it's literally like the young kids. Can they produce when it matters? God, and the key to it is making them nervous, making them uncomfortable. The crowd has to
And
be
that's where the fans come in.
electric. Ugh, electric. So seriously, no.
Uh-oh.
Royce?
Sounds like you got some of that bourbon early, Robert.
There you go.
Um,
Yeah.
It's a little early, Robert.
SAFC's a mentality monsters. They've been in the playoffs 3 years in a row. They've seen the heartache. Last year to fall in the Western Conference Final was big, and they kind of did a 2013/2014 Spurs, where in 2013 they were that close. Now they're there. This is it. And I mean, they're the mentality monsters. They'll be fine.
Rafa?
I
Your
want
coach,
up on
Rafa?
this. I want up on this, and we've looked past this. Out of the two coaches, who's won a championship?
No, I agree.
And that's going to come into a factor because Louisville has a young coach that hasn't been to that championship.
He's a
game.
quality coach, though. He's a
quality coach, but Marcino's has won a championship. He's won multiple championships, so he knows how to game plan a final. And if you look at the Scorpions final, you know, he really had a game plan against Fort Lauderdale, and they executed, and they're able to pull it out. This is going to be a grinder, but I think he's the key. He's going to find a way to put the right players in the positions and so forth, or the right substitutions, because he has that pedigree to win championships. And I think that's going to be the factor on this game.
And let's not forget, the Scorpions had to beat the Cosmos to get there. So it's not like they didn't have to play people at the time. And anytime you bring up the Cosmos, fuck the Cosmos. So got that in. So before we transition to the men's national team, got to give a huge shout out to the local college teams. I think, Robert, you wanted to touch base on St. Mary's.
Yeah, congratulations to them. They're in the conference tournament. I wish them the best. Like I said, Pato and Ollie delivered the trophy for that. They lost in the conference tournament, but right now they're about to play West Texas A&M. So good luck to them. Godspeed.
UTSA.
That's Robert's alma mater.
Let's go.
SDMU. And then
head coach is former, last year was AJ's surf coach as well. Coach
Very cool. Very cool. I guess we'll talk about my alma mater. UTSA plays TCU in the
first ever
NCAA Division I, the first ever appearance in the NCAA Division I tournament. They play TCU on Friday. So good luck to them. A hell of a run through the Conference USA tournament. They were the 6th seed, and they got out of there winning it all. So
3 double overtime matches, not 1, not 2, but 3. They beat North Texas, Florida A&M, and who was the first team they beat?
Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the championship against Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic was the championship, right? So, but
I think they beat UNT.
I mean,
UNT was the first match,
right?
I have to pull it up, but no, they beat three opponents. Yeah,
right. I think the other one was University of Alabama.
UAB.
Birmingham?
That's right, because they played
right.
UTSA also played the men that
Florida
team,
Atlantic. Right.
and they beat them in 2 overtimes as well. So yes,
correct. I know what my school's doing. I follow them anyway. But yeah, no, they have a hot hand, and they're going into TCU. With nothing to lose. What's the most dangerous team? The team with nothing to lose.
TCU better not look past them because, like I said, I did see a UTSA game, and they beat Baylor. So they can beat a Big 12 team, like one of the Power 5 teams. So it's a TCU better not take them lightly because I think these girls are hungry, and don't be surprised if they pull up a first-round shocker. I think they can really do it. I think they have the confidence going into this game.
And I don't believe Matt, you didn't go to Trinity, right?
No, I went to Cloak and Dagger, the best bar that I used to love. But
Wow.
So-
It's closed. It's closed. It's closed.
But friend of the show, if I do not mention Trinity, he will say something to us. Jacob, great QPR supporter and great ambassador for Trinity. The women play Panama and Pitzer at 5:00. And then Mary Hardin Baylor also plays at Pacific Lutheran. From my understanding, that's here in San Antonio, because I know there was some complaining about having Trinity play on the same night as San Antonio FC and possibly impacting some fans along those lines here. So, but on the ladies' side, we did well. I didn't see the men's side on for
Texas A&M? San Antonio? No?
Well, actually, they weren't. Did you go out there, Rafa, or no? That was somebody else.
I'm pretty sure they advanced. Yeah.
That's my future alma mater.
I know. Temusa had.
It's not.
They were in the Red River Athletic Conference tournament. I'm actually trying to find see who. I know they were hosting a game.
I know they play. I think
Sure.
I'm
trying to find.
Here, I'll pull it up here. I got it here. They're D3.
Yeah.
D3, right? No, they're NAIA, right?
Yeah, we're NAIA. Yeah,
They're NAIA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just to give you. Yeah, LSU Alexandria did knock off A&M San Antonio 2-1 on the 7th of November. So this past weekend, and that was for the conference. Which I think, and actually that was so they're out from the tournament because they have the semifinals on the 10th, which is tomorrow, which is Shreveport versus Alexandria, and then my master's degree alma mater is facing against Louisiana Christian as well tomorrow at 7:30.
So
Chaplain University? No, I'm just kidding.
So, like I said here, want to wish all the ladies soccer, women's soccer team much success. If you're able to make it out to Trinity, if you were unable to get tickets to SAFC, go out and support Trinity. I know they're at home. It's a doubleheader. I've been out there. It's a great environment to go to, fun environment, and the games are always very good. And you might see Jacob out there. It'll be interesting to see which game he's actually at for that here, because I know he's a huge fan of both. So, Royce, Robert, your thoughts on the 2022 U.S. Men's National Team? There really wasn't any, people that were upset over the lineups for that here. Oh, I lost it. Darn, I took my page away for that here. Your initial thoughts on the lineups and any. Here, let me get to it here. I had it pulled up.
I'm surprised the Marcus Beasley is not on it. I guess that's the biggest snub.
First in what, 4?
Do not talk about that guy ever again. Or Zardes. Don't talk about Zardes ever again.
Run
Beasley
DMV. Run
was the man, dude.
Beasley is a U.S. legend. Let's calm down.
Beasley's okay, but
Zardes I get,
Dude,
but
you can't disrespect Beasley.
Seriously.
No, sorry, dude.
see ya.
go.
No, but this roster is pretty much what I expected. Zach Steffen not being on is a pretty big surprise, but he's been hurt quite a bit this season. And
So-
honestly, Ethan Horvath has been
Playing
kind of
better.
outplaying him. At the same rate, it was very interesting to see Haji Wright instead of Jordan P-Folk. But once again, Haji Wright has more of a conversion rate than P-Folk, and P-Folk has been kind of injured recently. He did sit out the last few games for Union Berlin. with injury, so I kind of get that. And Haji Wright's still in the Turkish league, and he's actually doing pretty well in the Turkish league. Other than that, Jordan Morris being a forward, nobody can be that surprised at that. He's a line breaker. He has a speed, but the most important thing, he has the physicality.
Yeah.
Jordan Morris he's a bulldog. He can knock over anybody, and he's going to go against some super physical center backs in this group. So I see where that happened. I see definitely where Jordan Morris gets the spot over, say, like a Paul Areola, because Jordan Morris is a more physical player there. Christian Roldan and Sean Johnson going, those are two of the biggest locker room guys, and same with DeAndre Edlin. Those are three of the biggest locker room guys for this group, especially the young kids to keep them straight. No big surprise that those guys are there, but
Aaron Long.
But yeah, I think that's kind of my biggest thing, and I think if Chris Richards is healthy, I don't think Aaron Long gets on the plane, but unfortunately, Chris Richards is not going to be healthy enough. John Brooks hasn't found himself on a field pretty much this entire season.
Why is that? Just that because he's played a couple of times, he's looked good, but why is it just a coach and player just don't get along, don't see eye to eye? There's got to be something there on why Brooks isn't part of this. Well, not part of the World Cup lineup, but why he hasn't been part of the buildup at all.
Right. I mean, to be fair, Haji Wright hasn't been part of the lineup at all. And I think the eye was on Brooks, but like I said, he has not been playing that much recently for he's with Benfica, isn't he? And Benfica's doing unbelievably well in the Champions League and domestically. So I just don't think John Brooks has found himself on the field enough to kind of show his form. And a big thing with his line breaking passing, you got to do that consistently to be in form. So I kind of get that. And I think my happiest surprise is Tim Ream, who 100% deserved it. There's a quote recently that came out that Pep Guardiola, actually it was this last weekend, I believe, where Fulham played Manchester City. And Pep Guardiola approached Tim Ream and told Tim Ream, man, too bad you're not 24 because you would play. Too bad you're not 24 instead of 34 because you'd be playing for me right now. And Tim Ream goes, oh, that's a damn shame because I'm 35. So fantastic quote. But Tim Ream being on this, he more than deserves it. Tim Ream has been informed for the last 2 years for Fulham. He's been unbelievable. And that makes two guys, count them, two guys from St. Louis that are on this roster. So you have two guys from Texas, two guys from Missouri. Sounds like a Royce Alvarez special USMNT roster. I'm pretty excited about it. Let's go.
Robert, your thoughts now that you're done disrespecting DeMarcus Beasley?
No Beasley. No, the thing is like Wright is kind of like the shot in the dark. It's literally like their attempt at like stabbing at someone's 9. Who's going to score for you? And like
that was going to be my next question: is who scores?
The thing is they're trying to sprinkle in veterans that can kind of keep the young kids in line, and they're fishing for the MLS. And there's a few candidates, and they like let them in there. But the bottom line is like, gosh, like we're a young team. There's not tons of expectations. Of course, you want to get out of the first round. Everybody does.
Out of the group.
Yeah, out of the group. But the reality is like, God,
this team's building for 2026.
I'll tell you who scores.
There's not tons. Like, who's gonna tell me?
Your 3 leading scorers on set pieces. It's going to be Weston McKennie. And in the run of play, it's going to be Christian. It's going to be Tim Ream. Tim Ream is going to open up all kinds of eyes. He's been playing in the French league for Lille. Not a lot of people get to see the French league here in the States. The dude is unbelievable, especially with the USMNT. Watch, Tim Ream is probably going to be, if he can stay healthy, he's probably going to be the biggest.
Well, that's the whole key with this whole lineup. Is
I want to see Sargent. I want to see Sargent do something. God,
like Gio, Pulisic, McKinney, they've all had health issues coming into the World Cup.
Yes, if Gio stays healthy, that guy is the best player we have. Bottom line, but he just
not wrong.
He cannot seem to stay Gosh, he is literally, dude. That kid's dynamic. Bottom line.
Matt, Rafa, I know you guys are huge USMN national team fans. Anything you want to contribute?
I'm falling asleep over here, man.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. We call him the doormat for a reason.
Hey. But I thought Weston McKinney was still injured. For y'all.
He had an injury where he was out for 2 weeks with Juventus. It wasn't that big of an injury. I think pretty much, he came off limping and they're like, yeah, you're out till the World Cup. You're good. And especially because Allegri's still trying to figure out what the crap he wants to do with Juventus. So not a big surprise that Weston McKinney gets a break there. So.
And I know, Matt, you were super excited about beating Iraq today with Mexico here. So congratulations on the big one.
Are you Iraqi victory?
Hey, America's done that twice. Once in the 90s, once in the 2000s. So there you go.
What happened was.
But Rafa, Matt, I know on next Friday we're gonna break down Mexico a little bit more in detail because we should have the official roster out from them. I know you guys have seen preliminary rosters. Any surprises, shocks, anything that you would change?
Yeah, this guy knows more.
Well, they did have one loss. Tecatito Corona is out, but see him as a big loss because he hasn't been very consistent playing with his club team, and then especially the National League games, he's just, I don't know, they kind of hype him a little too much, and he hasn't really been delivering. So this is going to open the door for some of the younger players. Does it open the door for Chicharito? I doubt that. I do know that they did try to reach out to Vela, but he just said no. I mean, he would have been a game changer if he did say yes.
Is there a reason why he doesn't play?
Chicharito and Vela both got snubbed completely by the Mexican national team. And now that they're kind of coming back to them, they're like, no,
but
dude.
It's really more. It's really more about like Chicharito did get the snub. Vela is more of the one that really
he's the one that says
doesn't
no
want to
all
play.
The time. It seems
he says no. And here's the thing is that if you remember after the no era penal thing when they played against the Netherlands, I mean he flat out took them apart, but. I don't know if it has to do with his ego. I think this would have been if he had played this World Cup. I think he would have done well. He has that veteran leadership. Look what he did with LAFC. He's not going to be scoring a bunch of goals, but I mean he's going to be a little consistent up front. But I think the whole issue also with Chicharito and Tata Martino. I don't know what's going on there. I think you should bring him in, but. Like I said, he wants to go young, but I'm going to tell you this: Tata Martino is not going to last after this World Cup. And if you saw the news today, Miguel Herrera left Tigres, so there might be another link because he did have success with the national team, the Mexican national. Yeah, but
they're not making the change now. It would be for the next
they're not making
World
the change now. It'll be for the next one, and I think the reason why, if you saw the story, the reason why he left. The national team because he got into it with somebody at the airport.
He punched a reporter.
Yeah. But that guy was kind of saying a lot of stuff about his daughter, and so he got a little personal. So I mean, I would have done the same thing if he said something if I had a daughter. But do I see him being taken over him? I doubt it. But it kind of looks like he may be. But there's other candidates. But as far as my expectations with the Mexican national team. If we beat Poland, we'll advance to the next round, but I don't think we'll beat Argentina. Argentina is just too stacked.
I don't think we'll beat Argentina. Wow, way to go on a limb there, Rafa. Hey, Jesus.
I'd say the same thing.
Argentina's unless they have a collapse, like they had that collapse against Germany in that game. Like I said,
yeah, but Mexico isn't Germany. No offense. Team. Rafa.
No, yeah.
That's what I mean. Argentina is
that's not a collapse. That's not a collapse.
yeah. Mexico, Germany beat Argentina 1-0 in added extra time. So I mean, that's not a collapse. I think you're talking about Brazil.
But a collapse as far as mentality and stuff. You know,
I think you're talking about
Messi
Brazil
didn't-
losing to Germany 7-1 in
Yeah.
2014. Anyway,
So I got one final question on here, and it's with the World Cup in Qatar. Are you excited about it? Because there's a lot of, I know we talked about the Louisville situation. There's a lot of things that are entirely on a completely different level with Qatar. I'll just admit my excitement for it isn't, I don't know if it's just because of the time of year it is, where it's at. It's not where I thought it would be. And I don't know how to explain it. Will I support the United States? Yes. Will I have it on? Yes. But I don't, when I listen to Pro SAFC and they're going through and open the Panini packs and going through like that, I don't have that same desire for, at least for me, for the World Cup overall. I don't know if anybody wants to answer that, but to me, I think it's a question that's been going around is how excited are you for this World Cup?
yeah, I mean,
Look us up.
same. It's diminished. My excitement is very much diminished because it's a Qatar. I highly considered buying the entire Panini pack for my kid so we can go through it, but not this time around. Maybe next time, but not this time around. So I agree. I'm going to support the U.S. I'm excited to see what these kids can do in a big tournament. And I don't see this, call me stupid or whatever, I don't see this as a real big tournament. I mean, I see this more as a warm up to 2026, and this is going to get me more excited for 2026. That's how I see it.
Your thoughts, Robert?
I mean, it depends what angle you're looking at. Like from the sport perspective, yeah, no, I'm excited to watch it. From like the outside social media, like political aspect, God, that's where I'm wavering because you see that the injustices, and it's like, do you support it or you're not? No, to me, I love the sport. I always will. I'm a root for my team. Bottom line, we got a young team, and like Roy said, like next World Cup is the one where when they're tested. But at the same time, do you support it or not? It's confusing. It's a mixed emotion because like you love your team, you love the sport, but do you support what's going on? And that I don't know. To me, it's a mixed bag.
Rafa and Matt, and I'm going to ask you this kind of a little bit more because I know in Mexico, soccer's a higher sport, compared to here in the United States here. Just your kind of thoughts on how the World Cup is in Mexico, and the perspective, from the Mexican fan base along those lines, as long as with your personal fans, is do you think the same excitement's there? Because obviously, normally here in San Antonio, you go around World Cup time, you go to HEB, you go to Walmart, you see, Mexican national team fan stuff, a little bit of U.S. men's national stuff. I haven't seen that this World Cup cycle. There's
no enthusiasm. I think overall, I don't think all the players that are participating are enthused about playing in November and December. And especially like with that statement that Sepp Blatter made, like, well, we made a mistake about giving this World Cup to Qatar, So how does a player feel about that? It's cutting into your season, whether you're playing Champions League or Europa League or your domestic cups, and look at some of the injuries that some of these players are missing out. They're not happy about. Like I said, overall, I don't think, because even in Mexico, I don't think they're very enthusiastic about this World Cup. I think they're just like, all right, let's just get this over with. We don't care. We'll be ready for 2026 because that'll be a real World Cup. Because it's going to be well planned and it's not going to have that dirty money or the blood money, as you can say, not like the blood diamonds in other places. But like I said, even for me, I don't really feel enthusiastic about it. It's just like, let's just get it over with. I'm more excited about maybe Champions League and stuff than this.
Matt, your thoughts, and then we'll do a quick round of final thoughts if you can keep it short because we are at almost 2 hours.
I can't, man. I'm excited from like a fan base, but I mean, you're seeing all the restrictions that they have and everything. It's just like, man, I would hate to be there to watch it. Like, it's not that great. And like Rafa said, some of these players are like, it's more of a, oh, I have to go play for my nation. I mean, it's a privilege, but I don't know, just it just feels snubbed a little bit. And yeah, I want to watch.
You don't see that national pride, right? From some of the players, like, you have that pride to play for your, wearing the crest and all that. You just don't see that.
Like, I just don't feel it. Like, yeah, it's great World Cup, but it's just more of like.
Now, I will also say this: if either one of our teams advance past the group stage, let's just be honest, the excitement will grow. Just if you go deeper, let's just be realistic. If the United States or Mexico had the opportunity to play in the final, for sure we'd be all, hey, this is the greatest thing ever. So, just to be fair. Along those lines, but going in, I do think as far as for a World Cup, the build-up's been on that. I'm not a big Fox soccer person, to begin with in the first place, but for that here. So, final thoughts. I'm going to start here, and then we'll wrap it up. Do want to thank everybody that turned out and voted for that here. Like I said here, it's something that I think everybody should do. I think Bexar County, Texas in general, should have done better. The turnout was low. That's something that we have to do better as a society. I don't know if we need, somebody to help generate building up, grassroots to be able to go vote. But as somebody that served, in the military, it's one of the biggest things that I push on my kids is to go vote, take part, be active in the community. I know there's no major elections for another 2 years along those lines. There'll be some elections in between, but I won't lie to you, a little disappointed on the number of people that turned out and voted in an election that going in, you would have thought that it would have definitely beat 2018, and in Texas we did not do that as far as turnout. Regardless of who won, along those lines, the turnout to me was the most disappointing part. We'll go with you, Matt, then Rafa, then Robert, and then we'll end with Royce.
I thought just come out and be part of the crowd. Come out to the tailgate, get prepped. I mean, it's like I know Royce has been saying me. I'm just pushing everybody to just make that atmosphere great. I know I don't know, I think it was Jesse or someone like that. They were wanting to see if we could start a chant right at halftime throughout the whole stadium. So that's in the works right now. So we're just seeing what happens, but meet that crowd. I really want that crowd going.
Actually, I want to end on Rafa because Rafa has something a little bit more serious to end on here. Robert, if you'll jump into Rafa's spot.
My big thing is support, and love your team. Be crazy, be loud, but don't be that guy. Do not treat the traveling fans in a disrespectful way. Embrace them as fans. You got to love the fact that they love their team. Accept it, embrace it, but root for your team. Be a good person.
Let's be honest. If the roles reverse and we had to travel, I think most of us on this panel would be trying to find a way to get up to there, even if it meant calling into work on Monday.
Quitting work. I would quit work. Let's go.
Let's not go that far. Royce, Rafa has something a little bit more important to end the show with here. So if you'll jump, and then Rafa will end the show for it.
For sure. Final thought. Man, this is what all these years has come down to. This is the dream. This is the dream since 2016, since I was at the AT&T Center and they announced the club, and I still have my USL San Antonio scarf from then, back before they even had a name. Enjoy it. Take a step back. Enjoy it at the field before the game starts. Just take it, just sit back and wow, this is it. This is what we've all wanted. Let's be loud. Let's support. and let's be loud for 90, and let's be that
90 plus if needed.
let's be that 12th man on the field for SAFC. Let's go.
Rafa, if you have two of them, that's fine. I know you got one that's a little bit more serious.
Yeah, well, here's the serious part. I just want to, like I said, send our condolences on behalf, like I said, our NCF brother Steve Garza, whose father passed away. Send our love and prayers for you and your family. And like I said, so hopefully SAFC can win one for your dad. We're with you in spirit, and like I said, with thoughts and prayers, and hopefully we'll anything you need, just let us know. And also, like I said, Sunday's the big one. It's our Super Bowl, and I know we're gonna have the crowd and this and that. Win or lose, like I said, you can't be more proud of this team and what this team has done this year. And there's really nobody that can take away what's been accomplished. But the icing on the cake is really winning. It will be the sweetest, pretty much the sweetest one of them all. And that's what I'm looking for. And I'm kind of seeing the weather reports, the omens are like, is it going to be like 2014? Are we going to be able, me and Harry, be able to rush into the crowd and
storm the field?
Wait, we may have to start. We've kind of scouted this. We may have to start on the bunker side. Because on our side, there were dogs, extra level of security.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, my 40 speed is not the quickest as it used to be. Not that it was ever quick. And my jumping skills is about 2 inches, maybe 3. So
on a good day.
We'll encourage some of the younger fans. We'll encourage some of the younger fans to run first so they can get caught, and then we'll go sneak.
Yes. You gotta bait them. Run! And they get arrested.
Yeah, send the bait out.
But in all seriousness, I know it's something that we did with the Scorpions. It's something that we all want to do, but don't do something stupid that gets you landed behind bars, or more importantly, gets you suspended from going back to Toyota Field in the future. Respect the security. If there's other people that go and then get out there, hey, once the dam's broke, but don't be the guy that's ended up in cuffs and talking to security after the match along those lines. So please,
and get banned for life.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, please don't be those people to throw stuff on the field.
Yes,
I don't know if you noticed.
We're not LAFC fans.
Yeah, I don't know if Robert noticed, but there were some cups thrown at Colorado Springs goalie, and he got hit. He actually got hit, and he started throwing the cups back at us. So just please don't be that person to throw stuff on the field. We're classier. We give Southern hospitality. Just please don't.
And the war reports of the P chant, please don't use the P chant. I know the supporter group doesn't endorse it. I know us and 114 doesn't endorse it. There's going to be a lot of fans that will be coming to this match that don't normally come to this match. So if you hear somebody saying it, try to give them a warning first, saying, hey, we can't do it. And if they keep doing it, then that's where you alert security. I believe SAFC has a number that you can text or call or along those lines, reach out to if it gets to that far. But let's put on a good show for San Antonio.
Just say chorro. That's it.
So we're 2 hours in. Do want to thank John. Like I said here, you can follow him at Handsome John H on Twitter, YouTube, and I do know Spotify, Apple had the 24-hour Purple People podcast here.
Purple People.
Purple People. It was fun. They've got a great group of hosts. Last week was with Matt and last week was with Glenn and Hope, and Matt and Glenn were original. So just go out and support them and support others here. Be nice to people. And like I said here, just have fun, experience this. I've been following, San Antonio soccer since it started, 2012. This is the second final in 10 years. So we are, I hate to say it, it's been a good run. We've had some quality teams. We've had some bad teams.
Yeah.
but cherish these moments, especially if you've got young kids. I know I'm taking AJ and some of his friends who play soccer just because I think it's one of those, hopefully it's one of those special nights that he'll always remember for that here. And he's already talked to me about storming the pitch as well. I was like, well, slow your roll here, buddy.
Yeah, play the game first.
So, but
he's part of the bait. He's the bait. Send AJ out. And they're like, Harry running out the back end.
Dude, I will say
play the game first. Let's play the game first.
The security guard that they had in front of us last week, let's put it this way: The Rock would have had a problem getting by him. The dude was stacked here, but
I can take him.
Yeah, after a couple of days.
I'm not scared of him.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, I ain't scared.
But we will have a show next week, and then we'll probably have next week, maybe 2 shows for it here with the Duo podcast with Pearl SAFC. And then, of course, we'll obviously want to break down the game no matter what the result is. Will depend on the result here on how quick we come back. If it's a victorious one, obviously, probably pretty
10
early.
minutes after. Let's go.
We could, that would be an interesting one to do is to have that instant reaction.
I would remember a damn lick of it, but I'll do it.
Now we'd have to put probably the explicit on that
For sure.
on that label here, but I think it would be kind of cool to do. But
It's fun.
thank you for
If it
tuning
happens,
in.
we still have to play the game. Good Lord! All right.
No,
Anyway.
Don't talk about it. Don't
we're
talk
2
about
hours in. We've already won, buddy.
Yeah, no, ganamos.